So these guys, Jadab and Dollar, they actually place consistently, right? But this week, they actually placed top 800. So what happened, right? If you look at their match history, you can see that they only have one good game. Second place, 6 elims. What happened, right? Yes, you know, they got a couple kills early on, and then they just end up dying. Like first moving, somewhere in that region, they just keep dying over and over and over and over, right? So what's going on? If we look at the game, we could sort of realize like what's happening here, right? We'll look at this. By the way, the only reason I'm making this video is because I genuinely believe you guys, the viewers, are making this mistake consistently, and I really want you guys to dial down and make sure you're never making this mistake again, because I honestly believe it's one of the best ways to play duos in endgame specifically, especially your stacked mats like these guys, right? Try your best to not make this mistake, because I feel like a lot of people get baited by like, oh, we can tax sprint for free. In a stack game like this, I don't believe you should tax sprint. I feel like you should actually just burn the mats that you have, look for impacts later. Yes, mat conservation is important, but I honestly believe it's like a solos thing that you should conserve mats. In duo specifically, I really believe that you should just burn the mats. Don't be sort of scared to use the mats that you saved up. Like, it's there for a reason. You're gonna, you know, you saved up this many mats to actually use in the end game, right? I want to show you this, right? Right now, what would you say, you know, their position's like? Their position's pretty good, right? They're front side, they're all the way ahead, they're doing pretty well for themselves. However, in this specific case, right, I believe they make a mistake. It hasn't happened yet, but if you look at what's going on, if we just look at their name tags, Ignite Dollar and Mr. Jadab right in the center of our screen, if you just look at their name tags, right, a little bit of server lag there, everyone skips. Now they're in middle of zone. They start spraying at these guys for some reason, and then slowly but surely, because they've lost track of what they need to do, and they sort of hesitate on the rotate, now they're backside. And then eventually, because they're backside, let me ask you guys a question, all of you guys watching this video. When you look for kills, when you look for AR beams or SMG beams, where do you look? Do you look front side or do you look backside? For most people, they look backside. They like to look behind them. So all these people in front of them now are most likely going to turn around and spray at Jadab and Dollar because they hesitated and waited so long. So think about it like this. Let me give you sort of like a analogy of a sort, right? Let's say there's a leaderboard. Right, some random arbitrary leaderboard. It's an imaginary leaderboard where it's a race. Okay, so let's say this is the half zone right here, and then it's going into first moving, right? So this leaderboard just tells you who's winning the race. Okay, so if there's a box right here, there's a box right here, and there's a box right here, this is first place, this is second place, and this is third place. Obviously there's 40 people, there's like 20 teams or so, and then this is going to be a leaderboard of 20 teams. So you essentially are trying to be at the top of the leaderboard. You're trying to win the race. In other words, you're trying to stay ahead. And the reason you want to do that is because if you're in this section of the leaderboard, you get to be more conservative with your mats. Why is that? You get to be more conservative with your mats because no one's looking at you, and you're confident that no one's looking at you. If you are front side, you can almost guarantee that no one's looking at you. Why would they care about you? You're already front side. You're not pressured by Storm. They won't feel like they would get a kill on you, so they won't even bother looking at you. Most people, like I said before, like to look behind them for kills. So if you wait until you're in this section of the leaderboard or this section of the leaderboard, in other words, if you're over here or over here in the moving, then yeah, clearly there are going to be people looking at you. That's going to actually waste more mats because of the fact that you have to full tarp now because people are looking at you. You have to switch to metal. You have to start using way more mats now because you're getting sprayed. So instead of that, try to constantly be top 3 in the leaderboard. I really believe that's a good number to stay at because then you're constantly front side, right? Yes, you may have to wait. Like, let's say you're this box right here. You can't really move anymore. So let's just wait like 1 to 2 to 3 seconds max, okay? When you do that, the zone's going to look like this now. Does that make sense? A dotted line. Now, because of that, now you have some space to move. You get to move ahead, and then you can tarp forward. If you look at the mistake that Jadab and Dollar made, it's very clear. They just wasted so much time in this position. At one point, they were actually frontside. They were top 3 in the leaderboard. The problem is they didn't continue to establish that. If you look at what they did, they actually waited a long period of time because their philosophy was, hey, we can tax sprint, we can conserve mat because now we have all this space in front of us to start running for free. Right, but that's not how it works, right? I believe that can happen sometimes, but for most cases, in 90% of games, you're just not going to be able to rotate this for free. You have to understand there's a height team that's looking at you. At any point, any of these guys could edit and look at you, and that's the problem. So if you guys are making this mistake in your game, you have to stop. You have to make sure you're one of these teams. Look at, you know, I don't know how to pronounce these guys, but Yak, Rex, and Dylan. like these guys are doing good, right? Yes, they're using a decent amount of mats, but they're way more front side, and I feel like they're going to do a good job. Let's take a look at what actually happens, right? So they sprint, they're conserving some mats, right? And then they get beamed because they're backside. They feel like this is a low LOS location, right? It feels like, oh, I can just rotate this for free, but then they get beamed and then they get split up because they're panicking. And then this is the problem, right? Now you're using way more mats than you thought you would have used just because of the fact that you didn't decide to stay ahead, especially because it's going to go uphill as well. Like, you just need to stay all the way at the front. Don't worry about your mats. Don't worry about like third moving, fourth moving. Try to survive this moving first. Wait here. Go over to the second moving, wait there. At that point, you're going to be out of mats. Then you look for impact, keep it simple, and try not to sort of free rotate every single time, especially when you're max mats like these guys. I really feel like they lost track of staying ahead, and I feel like this is what's going to bite them in the back, because this is a snowball effect. Notice what you have to do when you get beamed. You have to heal. So all the progress that you made to get to center zone or like middle of zone, you know, to like catch up in the race is now completely canceled because you have to heal. And when you're healing, you're not moving. When you're not moving, you're going to be backside of storm again, and then it's going to repeat. This is the problem. This is why it gets so difficult to play the game once you make the mistake once, right? Because you don't have any sort of mobility, you are constantly back zone now. Now when he comes out, he's most likely going to get sprayed again, and then it's just going to repeat. They're also split. Jadab's over here, Dollar's over here, and it becomes very chaotic, right? We immediately fix this problem, and I really feel like they're going to succeed in their next scrim or tournament just because of the fact that this simple mistake is fixed. This was consistently happening across all their games, and I really feel like you could save a ton of mats just by not doing this. Not only are their mats pretty shambles, but then, you know, zone pulls across even further. Worst case scenario for them, right? And Jadab is still 100 HP. This is very difficult to play now, right? Because now you have to use your fast heals, you have to catch up with your teammate, you have to get front side, you don't have mats to do this. It becomes too big of a to-do list to handle because you just simply didn't stay ahead and sort of procrastinated on the rotate, right? You just hesitated on the rotate, and now it's very, very difficult. So what I want you guys to do is to not make this mistake in your own games, because I honestly believe a lot more people are making this mistake than you currently realize. They don't stay ahead. If you watch pro players, the whole game doesn't even look like this, right? The game honestly looks completely different because a lot more people are tarping and they're trying to stay safe. They don't try to free rotate like this. Honestly, I feel like a lot of people in this game are also playing it wrong. Just stay ahead, keep it simple, and understand, like, go watch a pro VOD, go watch Rise on YouTube. You'll see how simple his tarping is and how easy it is to stay ahead. They sort of worry about getting mats or refresh or like some sort of kill after the fact, but try to make sure you stay ahead and not get beamed. Then you won't lose tempo like these guys have. And now it's a snowball effect. Like I said, now you have to worry about max zone. You're also still not full HP. Any fight that you take is going to be really tough to take because of the fact that you're not full HP. It just becomes a whole mess, right? And it becomes panicked when endgame should actually be a very calm experience if you play it correctly. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you don't make this mistake in FNCS, and I will see you guys tomorrow.